Equity Mates.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.
Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates, a podcast where we help you learn to invest in roughly 20 minutes or less. We break down the world of investing from beginning to dividend so that you can hopefully make a return. My name's Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How are you going, bro?
Very good, Bryce. How are you?
Good. As always, great to be chatting all things stocks and markets, one of my favourite times of the week. And this episode, Ren, we usually set aside for our book club. However, due to some unforeseen events this month, i.e. the book not coming to my door, we have decided to push this one back, haven't we?
We have. So everyone out there who's reading along, you've got an extra month to finish the book. Not the way we wanted to start the new financial year. First episode of the new financial year, starting with an apology, but I think it's better than us half-assing this episode.
Yeah, well, for those that have just joined the show, welcome. What we try and do each month is choose a book to read, get everyone else to read along, and then we will review the book at the end of the month. We've had some absolute crackers over the last 6 months or so. Ren, do you want to remind everyone what this month's book is, just in case anyone wants to join, and we'll review it in a month's time?
Yeah, so the book is called Devil Take the Hindmost, and the author's name escapes me, but if you Google it, you'll be able to see it. Cards on the table, I haven't finished it. It was also delayed in getting to me, just not as delayed for you. But where I'm at so far, it's a really interesting book. It's essentially the history of stock market bubbles. And so, it starts with the tulip mania in the Netherlands, which I'm sure many people have heard of. It talks about the South Sea bubble in England. Talks about the emerging market bubbles of the 1800s, including a fake country who got its bonds listed on the London Stock Exchange.
No way.
Yeah. Some really interesting stories, but also just some really common themes. And as you're reading it, you will definitely start to think about things that you've heard about or seen in your investing career. And like the obvious one is Bitcoin. There are so many similarities to the Bitcoin craze we lived through and are potentially going to live through again as it picks up steam again. But even more generally, there's a lot of similarities in a lot of these bubbles. And I guess that's the point of the book, to put them all side by side. So yeah, really interesting one. If you haven't joined the book club yet, this would be a good one to pick up, I think.
Yeah, can't wait to finally get stuck into it. Just a word of warning, if anyone is looking to buy, it's not on Kindle, is that right, Ren? Which is why both of us have gone for the hard copy version.
Yep. And
it does take a while to arrive, so get on it now.
Also not available as an audiobook in Australia, because that was my workaround at one point, but it's available overseas but not in Australia.
Gee.
Yeah, I know.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, so we'll pick that up next week. So next month, yes. So in light of that, Ren, as you mentioned, it is the end of the financial year. We're now moving into financial year 2020, and so for those that haven't listened to the episode, at the very start of the year, Ren and I usually do an episode on predicting what will come in markets and stocks over the coming year. So we thought it would be a good opportunity to review what our bets were. We bet each other, and it's up to us to either accept the bet or not take it based on what we think. And then at the end of the year, I think there's some beers on the line for the victorious predictor of market events. So,
and we should say that I won in 2018.
Okay, well, we'll make that very clear, Ren, that you won in 2018. Stock of the year, you didn't win in 2018.
I didn't, and I'm not going to win in 2019.
So looking forward to this. I actually hadn't reviewed them up until preparation for this episode, so it was good to go back and have a look at some of the predictions that we made. So without any further ado, Ren, unless you have anything to say from housekeeping point of view, let's get stuck in.
Let's get stuck in.
Right, well, do you want to kick it off?
Yes. Do we just want to go down the list?
Yeah, let's just do it.
All right, so my first one was that the S&P won't fall below the 24th of December low. So if we remember at the end of last year, the bottom really fell out of the market. And so I said it wouldn't fall below that level for the first half of this year. You didn't take it, and that was good because it hasn't fallen below that level. In fact, it's up 25% from the start of the year. So,
good.
So I was right in that prediction, but didn't win a beer out of it.
Didn't win a beer. Do you think that it will fall below the 24th December low in the second half of this year?
No, I don't think so. I think it would be catastrophic if it did.
Nice. Okay. So then the next one, Ren, I made the bet that the S&P will drop another 400 points or roughly 15% by the end of the year. You did take that bet.
I did take it, and you're looking like you're in trouble so far.
I do look like I'm in trouble, as you said, up 25%. It did have a drop recently over, I think, a 2-month period of about 200 points. So we got close, but it's now recovered. And
what we didn't clarify, we didn't clarify in the first episode, do you just mean 400 points at any point in the year or 400 points from when we recorded?
400 points from when we recorded.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you've got to fall more than 400 points now because it's gone up since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So looks like there's a beer coming your way for that one.
So to get you one back, the next prediction that I made was that Afterpay would close the year below its share price opening the year. It opened the year at $12 and it's now at $25. You did take that bet, so I think we can call it 1-1. I think you'll be getting a beer out of this.
Well, yeah. I mean, as we were discussing before we jumped on to record this, there's been a lot going on in the markets with APT at the moment, and some of the big competitors overseas in the US, particularly Visa, are now starting to show interest in that buy now, pay later sector. And that's where Afterpay have targeted for their international expansion. So playing against some really big competitors, and we had a 15% drop in the share price on Friday alone. So whilst it does still look like it's sitting pretty against a $12 price, anything is possible over the next 6 months. So I'm a bit wary on this one, but we'll see. The next one I made, Ren, and that was that Disney will outperform the Dow Jones by the end of the year. And you did not take this bet?
No, I didn't.
No, and Disney is up 28% since the start of the year, and the Dow Jones is up only 14% from the start of the year. So looking good on that one.
You picked a good year for Disney. A lot of big movies coming out. Toy Story, I think there's Star Wars, The Lion King, Aladdin, although I don't think Aladdin's got that good reviews. So yeah, Disney just killing it still.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
what do we got?
The next one from me was pretty bold. I started by saying that WeWork would be the troubled startup story of 2019.
Now this was very interesting. I liked this one.
And then I must have felt very bold in the moment because I said WeWork would go into administration in 2019. You obviously took that. And not only has WeWork not gone into administration, it's actually got more money from SoftBank, which is that big venture capital firm. I think there are reports that it's confidentially filed for an IPO.
Wow.
So WeWork's probably looking to join the legions of tech companies that have gone public in 2019.
Interesting.
Yeah. I still don't... look.
Are they profitable?
Are any of these tech companies profitable?
No. That's why I'm asking.
Is it even a tech company?
No, isn't it a property real estate company?
Well, yeah, you would think so.
With a bit of dodgy stuff going on between the CEO and the company itself. I remember when you were explaining it, it was super fascinating. Something along the lines of the CEO actually owns the property himself and leases it
Yeah.
to WeWork.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. He was buying parts of the property that then WeWork were leasing, which is
Dodgy.
surely, I don't know, breach of. Oh, maybe it's not a breach of your director's duties. It doesn't pass the pub test, as our politicians would say.
Yeah, right, right.
But anyway, they are going for an IPO, and it'll be a watch this space, I guess.
Well, speaking of IPOs, I made a prediction or a bet with you that Lyft would outperform Uber would outperform Uber in percentage terms by the end of the year. Now, both of them have had their IPO, and we can report that, well, you did take that bet, and Lyft is down 19.5%. Uber is up 2% since their IPOs. So it's safe to say that Uber is certainly winning that one. I'm actually surprised that that's the case, to be honest.
Yeah,
What's your yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that surprised. Uber is it's a massive company. Probably in terms of its longer term growth, it's telling a better story. You know, we saw in Melbourne the stories about Uber Air coming online. They've got Uber Eats that's growing. They're looking at a few other things. I'm not sure if Lyft has that sort of growth pipeline. But
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a beer coming your way if things continue in the way they are at the moment. So, see what happens.
Yeah.
Next.
That was probably there was one more investing bet in there. So, well, yeah, we'll rip through the other ones. Why not? I said there would be no Brexit in 2019. You took it. I think I'm looking okay so far.
Yeah, I think so. Then I came in with an absolute heavy hitter, almost guaranteed. Not sure why you didn't take this bet, but that was with Trump will be impeached in 2019.
I did take the bet.
I know.
Yeah.
Trump will be impeached. Again, safe to say, I think that's looking to go your way.
I think so.
Yeah, so far there's a few beers coming to you for the end of the year, Ren.
So there's one other one on Trump that then I said that Trump will get his wall, and you.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
you did take that bet. I don't know. That's going to be a tough one. I feel like he's saying he's got it already. Anyway, we'll figure.
Oh yeah, feels like he's already built it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out by the end of the year.
Okay. Now this was an interesting one. I've been doing a bit of reading on it lately, and that was that value outperforms growth from a investing strategy point of view. You didn't take the bet, but I remember you were considering it quite seriously, I guess, at the time. And we can see that the Russell 1000 growth index is up 21%. The value index is up 15% year to date. So from an index point of view, we can say that growth is outperforming value. But also I think, you know, from the way I was approaching it, I don't think value has come back into vogue or into favour as it once was. So yeah.
For listeners who aren't sure about those terms, growth are the growth stocks that sort of the faster growing, more explosive. They've got a better story about their future prospects. Whereas value stocks are more around they're cheap for the price that you're paying. Yeah, it seems to we always seem to read articles that value is about to start outperforming growth, but yeah, at least this far in this year, not the case. Although
yeah,
21% and 15% year to date, both of them, like you wouldn't be unhappy with either of those returns in 6 months.
Can't say no to that.
Yeah. All right. So next one I got wrong. I said Australia would have a minority government after the election. You took that, and I was wrong. ScoMo and his miracle came through, which you were very happy about.
No, what? Again, lies.
Oh, you weren't happy about it?
Well, I mean, it was a surprise. So that's a beer in my back pocket. Thanks, Ren.
That's all right.
This one, and then to close it out, I guess we had a couple of bets on how the AFL season would pan out, and I said with great confidence that Essendon will win at least 2 finals this year. So far, considering we're not even in the top 8, that is looking unlikely. But all things said and done, there's a lot of things that can happen going into the final stage or few rounds of the competition. So watch this space. The Bombers are fast finishers. And you also had an AFL bet, Ren.
Yeah, well, I think the Bombers are more likely to have 2 coaches than to win 2 finals this season.
Come on.
But my bet, which probably also isn't going to come off, is that West Coast don't make the 8. I think.
Yes.
I think
they're well and truly entrenched in the top 8, that's for sure. So, well, nice, Ren.
So
now,
I think probably more wrong than right if we look at them all.
Yeah, I think so. There's certainly feels to be a few more beers coming your way than mine, and I think certainly the bets on the market that we had, we can both say that we weren't expecting the market to have performed as strongly as it did, or as it has done over the last 6 months. That's probably the biggest takeaway for me. It continues to go up and up. So we didn't take that into calculation. So one thing we didn't address, Ren, was our 2 stock picks of the year, but I think we've spoken about that a few times over the last 6 months.
We've spoken about them enough.
Let's leave it for now, and we can...
Suffice to say, you will win that.
Unless as there's a miracle in avocados, mushrooms, and raspberries.
So before we go, any half to 2019 bold predictions you want to make?
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to be bold and say that I still think that we will see a drop in the market. I'm just going to stick with that and see what happens at the end of the year. So I'm going to continue and keep the bets as they are, which I think is a bold enough prediction in itself, considering it's going to need to be a crazy end to the year for any of mine to come true, really. So what about yourself?
I'm going to say that Bitcoin doesn't top its previous high.
Okay, that's a good one. We'll see what happens, but you think it's going to get close?
It's so tough to know. I'm trying not even to watch it this time around.
Yeah, well, your previous success with Bitcoin wasn't great. So anyway, now Ren, before we go, we haven't sort of spoken about it on the show for a while, and that is Thought Starters and our social media channels. If anyone hasn't signed up to our Thought Starters email, it's absolutely booming at the moment with fantastic comments from our listeners and those that receive the email every Monday. Ren does an awesome job in curating 5 interesting articles straight to your inbox, and some of the articles really are fascinating. So make sure you sign up to that. It's a great way to start your week, kick off your working week with some really interesting insights into all things investing and markets, and also, random different industries and whatnot. So sign up at our website, super easy to do. And also make sure you're following us on Instagram and Facebook, and join our discussion group on Facebook as well. Some great content coming through there that benefits everybody. So yeah, that's it from me, Ren. Anything from you?
No, just one thing on the Facebook discussion group. If you're not sure why you should join it, at the very least, when we have interviews, we'll be reaching out and crowdsourcing any questions. So if you want to ask a question and you don't want to ask Bryce or I, but you actually want to ask an expert in the field, that's a good place to sign up, because we'll give you the opportunity to post some questions. We this week we crowdsourced questions for small caps expert and marijuana stock expert. So
both great interviews.
Yeah, which you'll be hearing in the coming weeks. And if you were in the discussion group, you would have got a chance to contribute questions. So for that reason alone, good reason to sign up to it.
Great call. So, Ren, I think for the first time in a very long time, we are going to come in just under 20 minutes. So we'll leave it there, and always good to chat stocks with you, and looking forward to talking next week.
Nice one.
Equity Mates and the people appearing in this program may have positions in the companies mentioned. This is general advice only. Please speak to a financial professional to understand how it may pertain to your individual situation.
Equity Mates!
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.